So yesterday I decided to give the pond a bit of a clean out, and in the process the reeds, the papyrus, I don't know how you say it, and the lilies were actually quadrupled in size, and it was so huge that you couldn't even see the water, and the fish could hardly even swim past the roots of it. It was just filling it up. So I basically got my secateurs and a bread knife in there and just chopped the whole thing in half, just divided it in two. So now I've got that bucket over there that's got a few plants in it, and this bucket here. So it's good now that you can actually get a bit of sunlight and actually see what's going on in the water again. But I'm thinking, what am I going to do with the spare? So I could put it on the side of the road and say free pond plants, but then someone will pinch our buckets as well, which I don't really want to do. Could I put them in plastic bags? No, but then if somebody doesn't pick them up, they might die. So I thought, well, why don't I use them? Surely they can live in the ground, they don't have to live in water. So that's what I'm going to do. We've got a couple of these fiberglass pond bases. That's what we used to have in the ground before we put the beautiful liner down. So what I'm going to do is dig a hole in that spot, sink that whole fiberglass thing in the ground, fill it with dirt, and put these plants in it, because then that will act, because they needed quite a bit of water. So if I just put it straight into the earth, it won't be sufficient, it won't be wet enough. But if I put it into this fiberglass base and then sink that, then when I water it, the water should stay in that fiberglass base and keep them moist, like a bog pond. So that's the plan. It seems like a good idea. We'll see what happens in the end. So then, yeah, I should be able to fill up that pond with all of the bits from that bucket and this bucket, and just let them grow on the ground. It should hopefully be pretty good. This area is a work in progress. We got stacks of bricks there that we want to make a fire pit with. We've got bricks all over the place to try and tidy up the edge here. So there's a lot of work to be done here, but yeah, getting that centre of the garden part going will be pretty easy, and hopefully the rest will follow. So I'll just do a few videos on the progress of that. So I've just dug around the basic shape, just done a little bit of a hollow around it. So now I can take the actual pond away, and I can see the shape that I need to dig. And we'll just figure out how deep we need to go once we're closer to doing it, closer to the end. Okay, so hole's dug. I haven't got it dead level, like with the the top of the pond is buried, but I can also always just push the dirt up around the edge of it. So I'm just going to leave it like that, because there's a few tree roots and stuff underneath there that, excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze, no. Excuse me, yes. So I don't really want to cut through the tree roots, so I'm just going to leave it like that. I've stood in the bottom carefully. It is actually touching the bottom, because there's going to be a lot of weight in there once the dirt, the plants and the water's in there, so I want to make sure it doesn't crack, that the bottom of it is actually touching the ground to give it some support. So now I'll just backfill a few of the edges where I dug the hole a bit too wide. We'll actually give it some side support, and then we'll start filling it up with the soil and the plants. Easy. I'm halfway through filling it back up. I've just gone around the edge with a shovel and made sure that, and my fingers, make sure that the dirt has gone down the side for the support. Started filling up the centre again. I just put in a bucket full of alpaca poo, because these plants obviously will need food, so I'll just give it a little bit of that in there. And now we just top it up. Now the dirt that was here that I dug out, I actually have sort of mounded it up around the edge to make it a little bit higher. We're going to put a path through here one day, so I'll probably use only a little bit more, which means that's not going to be full, but I still got to put the plants in, which will take a bit of space. And then I have a bag of compost here, or cow manure, which I don't know, I might mix that with a bit of the soil from out the front in the dirt pile that we haven't used yet, just to try and give them, you know, some nice food rich soil so they can get going. Alright, I'll be back soon. Okay, she's in. I haven't filled it to the top yet. Just go around the side. She's a mess. I'm just going to let that settle. I just wet it down and see how much water it absorbs. Let it settle, and then I'll give it a bit more water. It's looking a bit sparse, so I might want to put a few more plants in. Just little creeper things like that. Native violet there, I might just put a few bits of that in there or something, just to help it spill over the edge and disguise it. But I think it'll look alright. And yeah, because it's a sealed container sort of thing, hopefully the water will it'll keep moist, won't just all absorb into the earth, and should be a pretty good environment. Cool. It's worked out alright. This cotton Easter's kind of taken over a bit. Might need to do some pruning. Okay. That's my lunch break done. Back to work.